Hello from ABA Tech Show 2017 in Chicago, Illinois. I'm Lee Rawls of the ABA Journal.
And I'm Tim Baran with Good to Be Social.
And we're on the road with Legal Talk Network. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the road. It's a pleasure to have you here. Today we're talking about essential digital tools for growing your practice. Tim, can you tell me, where do you work and what do you do?
So I work with Good to Be Social. Good to Be Social is a digital marketing agency for law firms. We service large law firms, small law firms, solo attorneys, and any companies in the legal vendor, in the legal space. I came from legal tech, which is 6 years with Rocket Matter, and I was the content director there. So in terms of marketing, digital marketing, I would rather be known as, instead of a CMO at Good to Be Social, as the content guy.
Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of lawyers are intimidated by digital marketing. They think to themselves, what do I know? I just want to practice the law. Can I hire someone to do this instead? If you are an attorney, what kind of tools are out there for you to be able to do some of the marketing yourself or to look into?
So I sort of renamed my presentation DIY marketing for solos and small firm lawyers. So right along the lines that you're talking about, digital marketing can go really deep. And for larger firms and even for small firm lawyers, if you want to do that, then you should hire an agency or get some help. But you can do it all on your own, and it all starts with content, right? So the first thing I recommend is that you get a blog. And so in order to do that, you need the tools, and that tool would be WordPress. The second thing, if there's only two things that you do as a law firm or as a small law firm or as a solo attorney in digital marketing, have a blog, create content, blog once a week at the most, and then have an email marketing campaign. So send out like a monthly email with your links. There are a lot of other things that you can do. And for email, you can use MailChimp or you can use Constant Contact. I like to recommend free platforms. So for instance, MailChimp, you can start with, I think, up to 200 contacts for at no cost. Anything beyond that, you'd have to pay for. Same thing with WordPress. WordPress is open source. It's a platform that is used by half the internet, well, not half, but maybe a third of the internet, not just for blogging, but for websites.
Let's talk about blogging. Mm-hmm. At the ABA Journal, I'm one of the writers responsible for the Blog 100, which is the annual roundup we do of the top 100 blogs we're finding really interesting about law on the internet. When we talk to people about blogging, especially lawyers, a lot of them have sort of a writer's block or a real fear of what sort of things should I be writing about? You say start a blog, but what should I blog about?
Right. So, I reviewed just an ABA publication just last week, and it was from Steve Matthews and Jordan Furlong about law firm publishing. And in chapter 4, they had a concept called create a law firm publishing culture, right? And I like to talk about havoc-forming processes. So if you're going to blog, I say blog once a week, blog on Monday, and think about on the Friday before you leave work, you'll have an editorial calendar. So let's back up a little bit to actually answer the question that you asked. Think about your practice area and think about what your potential clients will want legal help with, and use those questions as the framework for what you will blog about, right? And those become your keywords. You should have about 5 to 25 keywords that you list them. Those keywords are based on not just questions that your potential clients will ask, but what you want to be known for. Like, you are an immigration lawyer in Nashville. That's absolutely one of your keywords, right? So that's how you will optimize your page. For your blogs, one of the concepts that I talk about is COPE, which is create once, publish everywhere. So think about your blog as the center of your content strategy. And each question that you would then put on, let's say, a weekly editorial calendar, which you can use Google Calendar for. You will write about one. You will extrapolate on one of those questions, and you don't have to write for 2,000 words, right? If it flows and you write for like 2,500 words and you edit, because of course you should edit down to like maybe 1,800 words, that becomes a really fantastic blog post. But, 200, 300, 400 words, that's fine.
One thing I hear you saying is when you're talking about scheduling and this is that these tools, these digital tools, this is not just a one-time and done. This is something that you're incorporating into your practice on a regular basis. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So, the web is littered with ghost towns of former blogs, right? So that's not a good thing for prospects to see when they visit your website, because then they'll be like, wait, you didn't finish this. Is this how you're going to be with my case? So it's better to not have a blog, and which is why the one thing I say is make it as low stress and as little involved in terms of if you want to write every day for 3 days don't even think about that. Just once a week. Yeah.
And you can also future date your posts, folks.
You can future date your posts. So if you have, this is a really good point actually. If you have like a burst of steam, let's say, right? You have a couple of days and you want to crank out like 3 or 4 posts. Don't publish them all at once, right? Future date them for, like you said, to go out Monday this week, Monday the following week, Monday and this is why I say use a publishing platform like WordPress, because it allows you to do that. There are plugins that facilitate like easy writing. One of the things that you should do in order to know what to write about, use Feedly. Feedly is a news aggregator that will bring all of the information to you when you put in the kind of information that you want to know more about.
All right. Well, before we close it out for the day, I have one last question for you. If our listeners would like to follow up with you, how can they reach you?
So it's the best way to reach me really is on Twitter. So it's Tim_Baran, B as in boy, ARAN as in Nancy, and my email is tim@goodtobesocial.com. That's good, the number 2, the letter B, and social.com.
Well, we've reached the end of the road for today's episode. I want to thank Tim for joining us today, and I also want to thank our listeners for tuning in. If you like what you've heard today, please rate us on iTunes. We'll see you next time for another episode of On the Road with Legal Talk Network.
All right.
That was so quick. I had more questions.
Oh, and I had a ton to say. But you know what I really wanted to do? I was hoping that we would end it off by singing On the Road Again.
Let's listen. On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. Going places that I
we should sing it because
in
karaoke you actually have the lyrics.
Yeah, and we don't know them. Yeah.
If you'd like more information about what you've heard today, please visit LegalTalkNetwork.com. Subscribe via iTunes and RSS. Find us on Twitter and Facebook, or download our free Legal Talk Network app in Google Play and iTunes. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.